Hi, welcome to my channel. Since Halloween is coming up, I thought I would do a horror coloring book flip through and maybe talk about some ghost stories. I also did a little coloring demo near the end of this video if you are interested. This book is the best of the beauty horror by Alan Robert. One of the reasons I chose this coloring book was that it has 80 pages of his most popular illustrations and was curated by Alan Robert himself. If you are around here frequently, you may notice that I'm interested in many random stuff, so I don't have enough time to slow down to color often. A coloring book like this appears to be more interesting for me as if I get to try many of his coloring books. However, if you have purchased his book before, you may end up with repeated pages, which is not a bad thing because some people love to use gel pens and markers on their coloring books, and those mediums usually bleed through to the next page. So it's not a bad idea to have duplicates, especially if you love his work. When I purchase coloring books, I look for consistency, which AI cannot achieve at this point. For example, when I flip through this book, I can see the consistency in his line strokes and the choice he made where to add lines or dots. In addition, his style of illustration is very noticeable. When you see his book, you can pick it up right away. I love the thickness of the paper. If you only use color pencils and are not too heavy-handed, you can color both sides of the pages without dealing with indentation. I don't want to sound like I represent all Asians, but I think Asians love ghost stories. I grew up consistently hearing unbelievable horror stories. Growing up, I was so afraid of darkness till later on in life, I learned the scary ones I'm likely to encounter are the ones that are alive. If you want to hear those stories, let me know in the comment area, and I'll share some without getting myself in trouble. Since these illustrations are not exactly based on real life, I thought I would let go and be free to choose the colors. As you can see in the video, I started with lighter colors, slowly blended in more colors and darkened the shadows. I kept the pencil tip sharp and used a circular motion on paper. For the first couple of layers, I didn't use any pressure on the pencil. The pencils barely touched the paper. That way, I could continue to add more layers and the colors could blend better. Now, back to my personal experience. When I was a kid, my dad took me to a tuition class on his motorcycle at night. While we were on the road, I saw someone dressed in white crossing the street. I thought we were going to hit the person, but somehow we went right through. I don't think my dad saw that person at all. I'm curious why, when we talk about spirits or ghosts, they are always in white outfits. Is that a trend? Years later, after I moved to America, I took my American friend to visit Langkawi Island in Malaysia. One day, we were hiking up the Seven Well waterfalls even though the weather wasn't ideal, and it was drizzling. Halfway up, I saw him waving to a rest stop beside a trail. I asked what he saw. I thought maybe it was some interesting animal. He told me he was waving at the guy at the rest stop, and when I looked over, I saw that there was nobody there where he had pointed. As someone who was afraid of ghosts, I tried to avoid them at all costs. Without alarming my friend, I told him it might not be the best time to hike since it was raining and slippery. After we went down the hill, I told him about the incident, and he insisted there was a guy who looked like a monk dressed in white at the rest stop where he pointed. I'm unsure if it means I was lucky not to see anything. Somehow, he was dressed in white too. Was that a coincidence? Or were all spirits dressed in white? Ultimately, I learned that it's better not to be superstitious so that I don't have to be afraid when I travel alone. Actually, I did have another scary encounter when I was in Kyoto, Japan, but I don't think this video is long enough for that. Anyway, about 2 years ago, I moved to a new place in Pennsylvania. I usually stay up late at night, and I would hear horses running in the hallway outside my door. It was quite frightening, and I was afraid to check. Later on, I found that because my senior cat had a thyroid issue and became overly active at night, so I assumed my cat was running on the carpet floor making a similar sound effect. And I guess that's the conclusion I'm sticking with since I still live in the same house. Thanks for watching.